This is the lowest point in Green Bay Packers football since the 2014 NFC Championship game. This was a disgraceful performance by a team that I still think isn't as bad as people say. They just cannot, for the life of them, get out of their own way every single week. Today they looked as bad as they have all year. This is the worst game I've seen them play all year long. And once again, for the millionth straight time, I have to say it, the Packers shot themselves in the foot, and they lost a game they should have won by multiple touchdowns. This is an easy game. This was a pushover game. This was a get-well game. The Arizona Cardinals suck at football. They are one of the worst, if not the worst team in football. You have them at home in December, a warm weather team that never even feels 30-degree weather all year long, and you can't beat them? I'm in shock. I can't believe the Packers lost this game. And throughout the entire game, I was thinking, yeah, they look uninspired, they look lost, but you know what? The Cardinals are such a bad team. They're going to find a way to win somehow. I was wrong. The Packers lost. And I don't really know where to start for the blame here. I really can't. I mean, I don't know. I mean, there's so many things that the Packers did wrong. I mean, like, of course, the play calling for the most part was pretty garbage throughout the whole game. I mean, you start on the first drive there. The Packers have it at midfield, and they hand the ball off on a 3rd and 10 to Aaron Jones up the middle. I mean, what in the world are you trying to do there? You have Aaron Rodgers at quarterback. What are you trying to do? Get better punting position? I mean, you're already starting with the loser mentality right there. And they just, every time they came out on offense, they looked like they didn't know what they were doing, like every time. And it wasn't helped by the fact that the Packers dropped a lot of footballs. But really, this is one of the worst games I've seen Aaron Rodgers play in quite some time. I'm going to say it. I can't believe Aaron Rodgers played as poorly as he did today. I mean, it was just bad. There was a throw to Davante Adams that, it wasn't the easiest throw to make, but, I mean, it was a touchdown. A prime Aaron Rodgers, that's a touchdown. You hit him in stride, touchdown. Even easy money. Davante had a step on both defenders, both defensive backs, and he wasn't able to bring it in because he was overthrown. And then there was another play, and I put this on Twitter because I was just in shock at how awful it was. It was a bootleg. Rodgers found Cobb in the flat, and he threw it low. There was nobody within like 10 yards of Randall Cobb. If Randall Cobb is hit in stride with the easy pitch and catch, it's a pretty decent gain, a first down. Instead, he threw it pretty much into the turf, and Cobb had to go down and grab it. And I saw this a million times today. Rodgers kept throwing it into the turf. I don't understand Aaron Rodgers says that there's nothing wrong with his mechanics, but he continues to throw it off of his back foot game in and game out, and he keeps skipping throws, throwing them into the turf. Dude, there's something wrong with the way you're throwing the football. You have to fix it. Look, I've made excuses for this guy all year long, and there are probably going to be more instances where I still make excuses for him because he's still a great quarterback, and we saw that today when he almost led the Packers back to victory in this game. But the fact of the matter is, he's missing throws that he has to make. You are the highest paid player in the NFL now with that recent contract. Play like it. You are making a ton of money to play like a mediocre quarterback right now, and he looks lackadaisical. He looks like he doesn't give a shit. Come on, get out there and play football. Stop throwing it off your back foot. Stop skipping throws into the turf and play like it really matters. This was the season on the line. The Packers season is over for good. It is completely done. They would have to have 100 million things happen and go their way, and they'd have to win out. And if they can't beat the Arizona Cardinals at home in December when it's snowing out, they can't beat anybody. I mean, honestly, they're probably going to have a pretty tough fight against the Jets on the road later this season. I can't even imagine what the Bears are going to do to this disgusting offense. They're 4-7-1. This is the worst season I've seen this team play in 100 million years. I can't believe I'm watching this right now. Obviously, the people who are older who might be watching this, there was the 1970s and 80s, and yes, that was the worst period of football for Green Bay Packers. But in this modern era with Aaron Rodgers, I've never seen an Aaron Rodgers-led team look this bad. It's incredible. It's really incredible how awful they've been. And like I said, I don't think that talent-wise or personnel-wise they're really that bad. They just continue to come out and play terrible football. They continue to shoot themselves in the foot every game. And the big moment of the game, the Packers had a lot of momentum. They went down and tied the game thanks to Aaron Rodgers' heroics. Eddie Pleasant on it's a second down, I think. A second down. It might have been a second and 23, I'm not sure. But yeah, it was a second and 23 because of the sack. But Eddie Pleasant, Josh Rosen made a terrible mistake. He threw it across his body as he was rolling to his right. There's nobody open. Eddie Pleasant, nobody within 10 yards of him. It's a layup. He's literally laying it into his chest, and he just drops it. He drops the pass. It was an interception. It would have given the Packers the football, and they would have probably scored and won the game on that drive. Instead, the dropped interception. The next play, Larry Fitzgerald does what he always does to the Green Bay Packers. He kills them, and he makes an insane catch. And then, of course, on Twitter, I see a bunch of Packer fans saying, well, I'm not that mad about that one because Larry Fitzgerald's just a great player and such a good guy. Shut up. That ended our season right there. That play ended Green Bay's season. And I saw people on Twitter saying, well, it's Larry Fitzgerald. He's such a great guy, man. He's such a great player. I don't really care. I'm not even mad. Shut up. That ended the season. And then the Packers, of course, the run defense started to fall apart, and the Cardinals were able to get it back into field goal range. And then, of course, the Zane Gonzalez, the guy who has missed plenty of clutch kicks over the season and bounced around to different teams, of course he makes this one, a 44-yarder, in the elements. Of course he does. Why wouldn't he? And then the Packers get the ball back. Aaron Rodgers kind of trying to lead the Packers down the field. I mean, we had a 4th and 5. We were able to convert with Jimmy Graham over the middle, but he was skipping throws again. He was throwing it into the turf. The Packers had to come back and make adjustments. The receivers had to come back and adjust to the football. You hit him in stride. There was a play, I think it was around midfield. He threw it to Davante Adams. Nobody within 5 yards of Davante Adams. He throws it into the ground, and Davante Adams has to go down there and make a catch down towards the turf and has to dive for it. And it's only a 5 or 6 yard gain instead of maybe a 10 or 15 yard gain. We saw it a million times. Rodgers threw 50 passes in this game. He only threw for 233 yards and 1 touchdown. That's a 4.7 yards per attempt. A 4.7 yards per attempt. This is the highest paid player in the NFL right now, and he's playing like garbage. I'm not saying that he was complete garbage. I mean, he had some pretty nice plays today. The touchdown to Adams, the really nice throw to Adams on the sideline to set up the Jones touchdown. But really, other than that, what did he do today? What did he really do? He didn't really do anything except skip throws into the ground and look like a really mediocre quarterback for the most part. I can't believe that this team is this bad. And you can talk about the scheming and everything, and yeah, that had a lot to do with it, but Aaron Rodgers had a terrible game today. He was not what Aaron Rodgers should be. And after the things that he said this week, after the way players talked him up this week, after Randall Cobb said that Aaron Rodgers is going to be ready for this game, man, you expected Aaron Rodgers to come out against this pass defense and have a pretty good game. And he played quite possibly his worst game of the season. 31 of 50 for 233 yards and 1 touchdown, a 4.7 yards per attempt. It doesn't get any worse than that. It just doesn't. I can't explain it. I really can't. I mean, it does get worse than that, of course. I'm just really frustrated right now, but that's not the numbers that we want to see from the highest paid player in the NFL. That's not what we want to see, and it cost Green Bay big time in this game. If Aaron Rodgers plays like Aaron Rodgers in this game, the Packers definitely win it. Of course, if Mason Crosby is also able to make that 49-yard field goal, the Packers are going to overtime, and I think they would win it in overtime. But the fact of the matter is he missed it. And, of course, he missed it. But, I mean, it's hard for me to fault Mason Crosby for that. I mean, he hasn't been the usual Mason Crosby that we've seen this year, but he has not really made a lot of those big-time kicks, But, I mean, the fact of the matter is, there was a play before that. You had 9 seconds. The Arizona defenders were playing way off of you. What did the Packers do? Instead of getting the free 5 to 10 yards that they would have given them, they go to the end zone. They throw it to the end zone. What? And the throw was, of course, overshot. I mean, Aaron Rodgers really wasn't even trying to throw it to anybody in particular. He was just trying to throw it out of the back of the end zone, and maybe Marquez Valdes-Scantling jumps up and catches it with the one finger. I don't know. I mean, it was just a dumb thing to do. And it was dumb, and it forced the Packers to have a longer field goal, and they could have had maybe a maybe like a 44, 43. And by the way, if that's a 44 or 43-yard field goal, it's good. It curved to the right just at the last moment. It was good if it was shorter field goal. So yeah, the Packers beat themselves up today. They beat themselves. They shoot themselves in the foot. Aaron Rodgers was garbage. The play calling was garbage. Yeah, I saw way too much of Jamal Williams today. Way more than I ever want to see again in my life. The defense was pretty good. I mean, they held Josh Rosen isn't really that great of a quarterback right now, but they held him to 11 of 26 for 120 or 149 yards, I think. And the run defense at times it was a little shaky, but they did enough, So, and just it sounds worse. It's not going to get worse than this. I mean, unless they go to Chicago and get beaten like 50-0. I mean, I don't know. Remember in week 1 when the Packers beat the Bears, like after that 20-0 deficit when they came back and won that game? Remember how awesome that was? Remember how positive the mood was in Green Bay after that? Honestly, I thought the Packers were going to be a pretty good team. And I really, at that time, I thought Chicago was also going to be a pretty good team. And they are. And I think they're in overtime right now with the Giants. But that was... After that game, I remember thinking, this is going to be an exciting season for the Packers. And yeah, they're going to have a lot of really good games and everything. And they're going to make the playoffs. And yeah, we beat a good defense. We came back from 20-0 down. Yeah. Just got to fix a little bugs. Yeah. Look what happened. It's just gotten progressively worse and worse every single week. More and more frustrating by the week. Other than that, guys, I have nothing to say. I don't know if I'm going to do highlights and analysis. We'll see if I have time to do it. But right now, this is a pretty horrible feeling right now. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. I mean, where do they go from here? Do they shut down Rodgers after this game? Do they play more of their backups? Do they punt on the season? I mean, mathematically it isn't over, but in reality it really is over. I mean, they'd have to have way too much things happen. But let me know what you guys think. Comment section below. And yeah, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. And as always, go Pack, go.